Greetings fellow Decepticons, SoundBlaster1987 here with my monthly vlog for December 2024. Today I'll be going over my top 10 picks for remakes of the Unicron Trilogy era Transformers characters that I would like to see in the upcoming Age of the Primes trilogy line and other series going on from this point. There are rumours of a Walmart exclusive line of primarily Transformers Cybertron themed remakes coming out in future, so fingers crossed that goes well. Having said that, these lists are entirely my opinion. As always, feel free to comment down below your thoughts on my list and what you'd like to see by comparison with my list. So, quick disclaimer before we begin, Armada Red Alert will not be on this list because he's already confirmed for Age of the Primes Wave 1, and I'm also leaving Cybertron Red Alert version 1 off the list because with the amount of retooling of the Legacy Crankcase mold received from the Pirate Cannonball for the Starseekers line, it's only a matter of time till we get a Red Alert redeco of that retool, so I'll be leaving that off the list for future reference. So, without further ado, let's begin with number 10 on my list, which is Energon Toyline. For those who don't know, Toyline is a non-show character who was created specifically to just fill out the waves of Transformers Energon toys in 2004, who was later reused by BotCon and the Collectors Club back in 2006 or so to create the Ironhide and Ratchet molds that were capable of power linking with other Transformers characters from the Energon molds. Well, the Energon Autobot molds anyway. I think an extensive retool of either Earthrise or Studio Series 86 Ironhide and Ratchet could work for this guy if they decide to bring him back, especially given the fact that the Earthrise version actually has the combat slave capability of the G1 toy that could be, easily reworked into Energon Toyline's little attack gimmick from a show and from a toy line as well. Obviously the Power Link's ability would be removed, but that's a minor consequence compared to just updating a version of the character that would be an easy retool. Mind you, we've already got the RID 2001 tow line from the Scrap Hook mold, so it may not happen, but you never know. Then, number 9 on my list is going to be a 2-in-1 choice here. Armada Jetfire and or Overload. Again, repaint retool potential for this pair at some point. We've heard rumours before about a Nemesis Prime cab-only repaint of the Armada Legacy Optimus Prime figure, so fingers crossed if we do get a Jetfire it might get retooled into Collectors Club Astro Train, which will provide fully articulated legs for the Evil Optimus cab variant, if that ever does surface in future, because obviously one of the main flaws to the original Armada Jetfire toy, aside from the light and sound gimmicks of his thruster weapon kind of thing, was the fact that he was supposed to just turn into a pair of legs for Optimus Prime, so his own individual robot mode articulation was kind of stunted, not to mention the proportions. Obviously his Minicon partner Commodore may not be included in this set if he is remade, and obviously he'd have to be sort of halfway between Leader and Commander class to get the size and proportions right, especially if he's going to combine with Prime as well. And then of course there's Overload. For those who don't know, Overload in Armada was also called Ultra Magnus in Japan because of the proportions of the robot mode of the toy making him look like he had Ultra Magnus's sort of tall shoulder stack things going on. And he was eventually repainted into Ultra Magnus for the Transformers Energon line. Now, the original Armada Overload mold is compatible with the Legacy Optimus Prime Super Mode for the backpack cannons effect, but it is a little bit wonky compared to what a new Legacy remake of Overload could potentially be. Though again it would be sort of halfway between Leader and Commander class price point, and I think for the full effect it would have to require some sort of pinkish purple repaints of Siege Omega Supreme's Fire Blast effects to get the full effect of firing cannons and such. But that's just my opinion. It could never happen of course, but you never know. Obviously this is one figure that would need his Minicon because for those who don't know, again, Armada Overload is actually a Headmaster unit that combines with his Minicon partner to create a sort of Power Master Optimus Prime shape for the robot mode. with a mini cab of a Unicron forming the chest plate of a giant robot. Plus also Overload's vehicle mode is a shuttle carrier specially designed to carry Jetfire shuttle mode. So imagine how awesome Legacy Optimus Prime's Armada figure would look, towing both his trailer and Overload and Jetfire all at once. Just like in some of the final scenes of the anime series. Then, number 8 on my list, Armada Demolisher and Cyclonus, another 2-in-1 entry. Now, for those who don't know, who haven't been keeping up with this channel very long, Armada Demolisher was one of my first ever, it was my first ever review, thanks to fellow reviewer TJ Omega's eBay sale back in 2018. And it's also one of my favourite toys from the Armada line. Yes, the articulation's stunted compared to what they can do nowadays, but it's still a really fun figure and still pretty decent for the time given his Unicron gimmicks. Obviously the, firing missiles would have to be replaced with just manually removable 5mm peg type things. They could easily be replaced with blast effects to show them being sort of mid-firing kind of thing, and obviously the way his Gatling gun fingertips design may have to be compatible with the smaller blast effects to show his finger laser type thing going on from the show. But I genuinely think that it's possible that we could actually get an Armada Demolisher remake at some point. I'll cover his potential for an Energon dump truck variant later down the line, because I think it could possibly be done with an extensive retool of SS-86 Long Haul, due to the similar transformation and such. But I digress. The Armada Demolisher design was also redone for the Fall of Cybertron video game as a reskin of the Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime design. I think if Gamer Edition ever does the Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus design, they could easily rework an Armada Demolisher retool out of that as well. Not saying it's likely to happen, but it's possible. And obviously the Gamer Edition figures have the swappable arm weapon gimmick thing going on, so there's plenty of potential for that to work out. Then, of course, there's Cyclonus, who has a pretty unique transformation for helicopter robots, I have to say. So, it's going to be difficult to figure out what they could retool Cyclonus into at some point, because I don't think a Leader Sandstorm or a, Deluxe Spinister would cut it for this guy, given the way he works. With a cockpit chest and the tail fin backpack, and the legs being made of the sort of undercarriage bulk, and the sort of mini winglets coming off the shoulders where the arms come down from because of the weapons on the wings, that kind of thing. It will be interesting to see if they can engineer a modern Armada Cyclonus at some point with a bicep swivel and universal shoulders and all that, but I'm not holding my breath because it's a highly unlikely situation. But again, there's remake potential with both the Power Link version of the original toy and the Arctic camouflage variant of the Energon repaint. And again, there's multiple repaints of the Armada Demolisher design that they could use in future. Then, number 7 on my list is going to be the Cybertron Deluxe Class Crosswise. Because I think either an Origins or Studio Series 86 Jazz retool could work here. Or possibly even reveal the Shield Jazz if they wanted to push things a bit. Because for those who don't know, the Crosswise mold was used as Shattered Glass Jazz back in BotCon 2008. So, yes, Crosswise was kind of like the sidekick to Evac in the Cybertron cartoon, the Guardians of the Earth Cyberplanet key that got stolen by Starscream at one point. And again, I think his design could easily work as either a parallel universe version of the Darton Trio, because it got repainted into Smokescreen at one point, or again a new version of Jazz at some point in the future with the right kind of retools. Obviously his cyber key weapon gimmicks would have to be replaced with non-functioning port like the one that Velocitron Override had, combined with manual gimmicks and such. But I think it's something that can easily work if they put in the right amount of effort and engineering and such. Then, number 6 on my list is the Energon Sharkticon. We've already got rumours of a Skybite coming next year, but that's going to be an RID 2001 accurate version based on his Transmetal 2 Cybershark variant. So I think if we redo the Energon Sharkticon mold that turned into a sort of shark-shaped submarine battleship type of thing, Skyblight repaint of that further down the line in Generation Select or Buzzworthy Bumblebee could also raise a few additional bits of profit for Hasbro, not to mention obviously the G1 Sharkticon deco of the Energon mold, as was produced by BotCon at one point. I have to say, although I've never owned the Energon Sharkticon mold, I kind of want to, because who doesn't love a shark submarine battleship type of thing? Again, the spring-loaded missiles would have to be replaced, but that's not a problem. Then, number 5 on my list, going back to the Transformers Cybertron series, we have both versions of Scattershot. Because the original Scout class Scattershot figure was one of my all-time favourite Cybertron character designs. But the way the engineering worked left it with no leg articulation, similar to Armada Megatron and Energon Tidal Wave. Given the way the Titan class Armada Tidal Wave remake in Legacy has engineered itself, and the Legacy Armada Megatron retool and all that, I think it's highly possible that if we use the shrunken down sort of half deluxe size kind of scale that we use for the G1 mini-bots, it could easily work. Especially since we've already got Cybertron Hotshot with the Legacy remakes and more Cybertron figures coming out in future. Plus also if we use a couple of 3mm blast effect ports on his backpack rotating panel thing for the Missile Storm Cyber King weapon, and replace his firing friction fire missiles with again 5mm port compatible manual fire missiles that can then be replaced with a blast effect and then wedged into the blast effect to make it look like they're just being shot out that second. That can make for some interesting stop motion work in my opinion. Plus, again, the Cybertron Defense Team version of Scattershot is basically just a Voyager class, or I suppose modern day Leader class size version of the Micromaster Flak from the original G1 line. Except with the rocket pods becoming his arms instead of a backpack or legs or anything. So that could be an interesting engineering challenge for the, more modern way of doing things. Obviously again the Cyber King weapons would have to be modified for just manual gimmicks and such, but I'm sure it can be done. Then, number 4 on my list, going back once again to the Cybertron line with Cybertron Defense Team Red Alert. I think an extensive retool of Earthrise Double Dealer so the vehicle front halves face forward properly for the lower legs could potentially work here. I've already seen fellow Transformers fan Grim Lockimus customising a Euro G1 Stalker out of the Earthrise Double Dealer mold, so anything's possible. We could also get a BotCon 2006 Theft of the Golden Disc Megatron out of this mold, just like the original Cybertron Defense Red Alert if things go well. Again, a dead Cyber Key port on the back of his missile for show accurate weapons, compatibility and such could work here for future reference, so those who have Cyber Keys from the original toy can just pretend to shove it into the missile just like the original figure. Except of course this upgraded one would have more articulation as per the modern standards. Then going all the way back to Armada with number 3 on my list, with both Thrust and Skywarp, because Skywarp is now one of the only repaints of the Legacy Armada Starscream mold that we don't have yet. Obviously a few retools down the line would be needed for like the Mohawk Skybite style head fin and the mouth plated helmet and such like, but that's easily doable within Hasbro's scope of retooling and such, I think, especially now we've got a Thundercracker from a Legacy Armada Starscream mold. Now, those who have got the Power Links Battles version of the Legacy Armada Hotshot will know that we possibly might have had some rumours of an Armada Thrust repaint or extensive retool from the Earthrise Seeker mold coming out in future. This figure was sadly scrapped, but it's possible that we could potentially get one in future, which could also lead to the Universe 2003 Sunstorm repaint. We've not had a Sunstorm since that knockoff Classics 2006 mold from Few Adams Beatdown 3 review. Honestly, I think it's about time I brought Sunstorm back, because those sort of Solero orange ice cream kind of colours of a Seeker mould have always worked in my opinion. Again, I don't own any version of Sunstorm, but I think that colour scheme really works for a Seeker design. So, number 2 on my list is going to be, let's see now, Energon and Cybertron Landmine. Because, for those who don't know, the Unicron Trilogy is supposed to be a sort of continuous thing with a few years gap between each series. So, the Energon Landmine is supposed to be the same character as Cybertron Landmine, but obviously the way the English dub worked made a few differences to the character over time. Obviously the Energon version would need to be upscaled to leader class so that he could be just a Voyager with extra parts. So the main robot mode could just be Voyager scale, but then you add all the parts onto him like the way the modern weaponizer type figures work to create the brute mode they had in the Energon anime series by combining the various vehicle cable parts onto his robot mode to create a more powerful battle armor type look. Then of course there's the Cybertron version, which would have to be an extensive retool of either Studio Series 86 Scrapper or a potential Robots in Disguise 2001 Wedge remake, because the shovel of his excavator mode splits in half to become shoulder mounted blades and such like. Just like Wedge from the Robots in Disguise 2001 series. Then, finally, number 1 on my list, I'm sure you all saw this coming, Cybertron Ransack and Crumple Zone. Now, obviously, a leader class Cybertron Crumple Zone would have to be a brand new mold that could, again in Buzzworthy or Selects, be retooled into BotCon 2006 Optimus Primal, or sold in a Commander Class 2-pack of Primal or Rat Trap from a Ransack version of the mold. And of course, Deluxe Class Ransack could easily be redone from a Legacy Prime RC/G2 Road Rocket mold. If they wanted to use a design that was relatively accurate to the way that the original Ransack worked, with a splitting wheel across the robot legs and the other wheel attached into the backpack, although obviously the Legacy Prime RC mold, due to sharing engineering with G2 Road Rocket, splits the front wheel into a sort of twin spinning shurikens weapon type of thing. But I'm sure there could be probably a way to rework that somehow. But yes, either a whole new mold with shared engineering or an extensive heavy retool of the Legacy Prime RC mold would be needed for Ransack to work. But you can't have Ransack without Crumple Zone. And obviously the tips of the turbines on Crumple Zone would need to be 5mm port compatible, so they could be like Blaster Fang compatible for showing off the way that they work, because of the tips of the turbines being the spring-loaded missiles on the original toy. And again, obviously this would require some manual gimmickry going on compared to the spring-loaded Cyber King weapons they had in the original line. Now, before I conclude this video, honourable mentions go to Armada Blur, which I think could work with an extensive retool of Legacy Point Blank with Dirge's wings on the legs to give a sort of cape illusion. If you retool a few VTOL fans onto the wings to give the illusion of his flying car mode from the anime. And, let's see now, Cybertron Dirt Boss I think could be a, interesting figure to make a new version of, articulation wise, with those massive wheels on the backpack hindering articulation and such, due to back heavy balance. We already know there's a rumoured Commander Class Optimus Prime remake for the Transformers Cybertron line on the way, so that could be an interesting figure for future reference. So, with that said, that concludes my video. I've been SoundBlaster1987, thanks again for watching. My next monthly vlog in January 2025 will be another History of video where I look back at the history of the Tommy Oliver character from the Power Rangers franchise. Till then, my next video will be my Christmas special, where I'll be looking back at the Muppets Christmas Special movie, The Muppets Christmas Carol, an adaptation of the Charles Dickens novel A Christmas Carol. Then, after that, my next animation review will be the new Woody Woodpecker show from 1996, Then after that, my next toy review will be the Arctic version of number 1 from Codename Kids Next Door. Till then, till all are one.